Hey, it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be making a Christmas themed junk journal that I can use throughout December. And I've gathered a bunch of different papers and a few little Christmassy bits to include in this because I don't want it to be like overly Christmassy. I just want it to be quite subtle. And the method that I'm going to be using is the accordion style because that's no-sew, dead easy, and I've got lots of different scraps and things that I want to use. And there will be something quite exciting announced soon, which you'll find out why I'm making the Christmas journal, but I don't want to spoil the surprise yet. But just to get you excited, if you like doing like Christmassy festive journaling, then maybe keep an eye on my channel or my Instagram for an announcement about that. But anyway, let's get into the journal. So I picked out just some random like cardboard packaging, and I thought maybe I could use these little flaps as kind of the cover of my journal, and obviously I'll want to cover up the writing and things, but I thought this might give me a nice like direction in terms of size because they're pre-cut, they're both the same size, and maybe we can cover them to use them for the covers. So these are just some random like scrap papers or like scrapbook style papers that I have, and I've had them for a good few years now because obviously I can only bring them out during Christmas time and stuff, so you probably can't even get these anymore. And you can see I've punched out some tabs in a few of these. Some of them are like papers, so they're a little bit thinner. This is like a kind of more neutral style one, and then there's also some like real like traditional Christmas ones as well with like little wreaths and things. So I might use some of these on the cover, and I'm kind of leaning towards the neutral, to be honest, because a lot of the papers that I've picked for this are also neutral. And then what I'm thinking I can do is kind of include some of these within the kind of patchwork pages that I'm going to create for this journal. See, I really love this like pink like holly pattern. We've also got some like reindeer style kind of ones. Music sheets, not really Christmas, so I'm thinking maybe the pink holly because that kind of keeps it like a nod to Christmas, but it's not overly Christmassy. So I'm probably going to use this, and then maybe I'll use the music sheet one for the inside cover perhaps, but we'll see. So I'll just pull this one out. And so, oh, they're not tall enough. Okay. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to trim these to the correct size. And this should give me like quite a nice sturdy cover. You can use like thicker scrapbook paper. That's what I did for the one that I did in July. But I quite like the idea of using like cardboard, and it can just be like off packaging or things you get in the post, to use that as a kind of thicker base for my cover. So then I'm just going to grab my glue stick and just pop some glue onto this. So it's going to be quite a simple cover for now. I might add some embellishments onto it. Maybe I'll add like a label or something, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now and trim that ugly cardboard bit that I've got there. Just wipe that away. And then what I think I'm going to do is wrap this around the side so that we don't see like the cardboard section. So I'm just going to wrap that around, and then I'll cover that then with whatever we're going to stick on the reverse, but that just makes sure that I've got a nice kind of smooth edge here. I know you can see kind of the top, so I might just trim that slightly so you can't quite see that, but the cardboard wasn't really like tall enough, and I don't think I'd want to cut it any shorter to allow for the paper to go over the top, because I think this is quite a nice size. So I'm just gonna make sure we've trimmed off all those little corrugated bits. so there's our first one, and I'm not too bothered about the other side because we will be using this obviously as the start of the journal to work out of, so you won't notice too much on that side. And then on this side I'm just going to add my glue as well. There's our cover, so it will be this way round, so that we've got a nice edge for the journal here. So the next thing I want to do is the inside of this paper. So I was thinking maybe I could add perhaps the music sheet onto here. That could look quite nice. Let me put that there, see if I would like that. I think that fits quite nicely. And I could leave a little edge here that you would have in like a traditional kind of book, as you would see. Let me put it on that side. Okay, so it would sit like this. I think that works quite nicely, so I'm just going to add my glue to the reverse of here as well. Okay, so now that we have our covers, I'm now going to work on the base pages. So I've got a bunch of different papers here, and I'm also going to try and integrate some of the Christmassy papers too. So I've got like little tags, tea stained papers, I've even got like bits of paper bags, I've got envelopes. I thought even maybe like a tag could be quite nice. This is just from something I've bought. I don't even know what it's off. Maybe it's off some clothes. But I thought maybe I could even like tea stain that, pop it in just as a background piece. Envelopes. Okay, so I'm going to start building my page, and I think the first thing I want to include is some of this tea stained paper. So I'm going to use just the full length and glue down the side of this and just attach my piece of paper, giving myself enough of an overlap on the cover. And then I'm just going to trim where it's kind of too long for the page. So let's just score down there and then just rip that off. And then, whoops, once we make sure that it's straight, I'm going to gently fold this over so that we get the start of our first page, like so. And I'm just going to make sure I've got enough glue on this section to actually hold the paper in place nicely so it doesn't wiggle around. So I'm just going to come in with some extra glue just to reinforce this. There we go. And so I just want to make my page as wide as the cover, so I'm going to come in with some additional elements. So I'm thinking maybe a tag might be quite nice as an addition. So I'm just going to simply pop this on here with some glue and hold it down, and then I might come in and add something on the other side that matches. So maybe some cream paper, and I'm just going to maybe cut it to about here. Pull this off, and I think I'm going to put this on the reverse actually, because I don't want to cover up the tag element, but I can cover it up on this side, that's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to add my page that will flip the other way, so it's going to fold the opposite direction, and I'm thinking I might include an envelope for this to include on the join, and that also kind of makes a nice patchworky effect as well. So I'm just going to put some glue on the flap of the envelope and then attach this to the side of my page that I've got here. And then that immediately then becomes the page that folds a different way. So I was thinking throughout this I could maybe add some of the Christmas papers as little kind of collage snippets, if you will. So just little sections, because I don't want this to be like overwhelmingly Christmas, like I said. I just want some little kind of nods to it that I can work with, and then add my Christmassy bits sort of as I'm working on the journal. So I'm gonna add this section here just as like a nod to that, but then also as some reinforcement, because I've attached it on this side. So I just want to make sure that all the joins are nice and strong, because that's the kind of issue sometimes with using different papers, is that especially if you want to start adding loads of stuff to your journal, that the join isn't strong enough. So I'm just going to add this here and make sure it's not wonky, and then all I'll need to do is to just fold this to make sure that it folds properly. And you can see then how when the journal's closed, you will also see some of this on this section, and then that's how that looks on the reverse. So let's add some more papers. I've also done some just like regular tea-dyed papers that add just a nice base to work on. So let's just add a strip of this, and it's nice to vary between patterned papers and also plain papers, just to give yourself that like variety with the journal as well. So I'm just going to add that to here, and then fold this into the edge, and then fold this up so that I can rip that part off. And I think now I'm going to dive into some of the papers that I've got in this neatly organised little folder that I did the other day. So I've got all sorts of bits in here, so let me just pull out some of the things that I've got to play with. I've got some really lovely bits to work with. Some of these papers are quite fragile, so I'm going to be careful with what I'm using for these pages, just because I want them to be nice and strong. So here are some papers that I have, and like I said, I'm not too bothered about things being like overly Christmassy, but I've also got the little transparent washi collage strips that I made as well, so maybe we can add some of these into this journal too. All sorts of different bits and pieces here. These bits aren't like super Christmassy, but I quite like that part and that part, and maybe that one. That's quite sweet. Okay, so let's pop those to one side. And I've got some beautiful ledger paper. I definitely want to use some of this within this journal, so lots of different bits there. And then some bunch of scrap different papers and things. So let's just pop everything out and see what we are working with. I've also got this bag, but I'm kind of organising things in it at the moment, but maybe I could use this bag itself. That would be quite nice. Kind of want to keep it for now though. I've got a bunch of different scrap papers in here as well, so lots of different things to work with. These are just kind of like things that have been cut off when I've been doing different projects and things, but it's quite nice because they've got a nice little detail on them. So something like this would be nice to use maybe as a little, just a little addition to the journal, maybe like this perhaps, and we could just add it as a little section, and then continue with building the page itself. So maybe let's add one of these. Now the only thing with these is they're quite flimsy, so I'll just have to be careful with how this is being added to the journal. So let's pop some glue on here. So, and I'll just need to trim this section. That, and then so I had a few comments when I made this project, and the idea came from Rachel from Roxy Creations for this, about using it, and I think it's quite nice to use as a little element on your journal. So for this one, for example, where have my scissors gone? So this one, for example, it could be quite nice to chop up one of the sections. So maybe we'll go for like this section here. And then I could just add this as a little embellishment onto the page. So maybe something like that. And I might trim this down a bit just so that I've got the floral element still showing. And obviously that would be really nice as a little addition too, so I won't get rid of that. But they're just really nice because with the vellum, they don't kind of like take over the page. You've still got that element of transparency. But it's just a nice little addition to kind of bring a page together. So I might actually put this against the edge of this. So again, it's working as a reinforcement, but also it's just quite nice as a little textural element on this page. And this isn't very Christmassy, but once I start adding my kind of Christmassy themed journaling to this, we can make it more Christmassy. But for now, I think we're okay. So this piece is quite thin, so I don't want to use that as the border piece. I might use another tea stained piece of paper, to be honest, just because that's going to be a lot stronger. So let's just tear some of this, and it doesn't matter if it comes like a bit wobbly, that's fine. So just make sure it's the right size. And then let's see, I'll probably join it from this section here. So again, just make sure I've got a nice overlap. Add my glue, and then we will add it like this. And it's a little bit too short, but that's fine. We can add some extra bits to this, and then I'm just going to fold so that it is the right width. And then we will be coming over, so we've gone that way to that way, so we'll be coming back across this way. So I think this is really sweet, so I'm going to add some of this, and I kind of want it to be in the same page, so maybe let's work as if it's this way just for now, because I think this is quite a nice look together, so that I know that this kind of section works together. And I'm going to cover it on this side because I don't like how plain it is, or like stark white in comparison to the other papers that I'm using. So let's see what we've got. I kind of want like a different color tea stained paper to work with, so maybe like this book page might be quite nice. So let's use this, and I'll keep in the kind of punched holes section. So let's add the glue to this, and then just add, it's going to overhang, but that's just so I can make sure I cover it all, and then add my glue up the side. And then I'm just going to make sure that I trim this so that it's not too long. And then we need to add some more sections to this page. So I'm going to use some of these little scrappy bits just to add as kind of joins on some of these pages. So maybe this as well, because that's quite nice. I might just overlap these and maybe add this one, or maybe should add it to the other side. That might be quite nice as, yeah, let's add that one there. Okay, and now let's see, what else do we want to add? I've got this like wallpaper section that is a beautiful pattern that is not very Christmassy, but I like it, so let's add it. And then I think I do need to add another piece of Christmassy stuff from my pile of Christmas papers as well, but I think I'm going to pick out some of the more toned down sections, because the more I'm doing this, the more I'm realizing it's not really that Christmassy, but that's fine. So let's add this section here. So I'm just going to add my glue, and I wouldn't be afraid to like double up on some of the papers, because that is kind of what makes the pages a lot stronger as well, if you've got like more than one piece of paper, especially if you're working with things that are a little bit more fragile. It helps to keep the page kind of all in one piece. So let's add that, and then we've just got a tiny section here that we need to add some reinforcement to. So let's add this piece to here, and I think I'm going to start fresh with the new piece that comes off this and attach it to this side. So for example, like this piece, I'm just going to put the glue down the side and then add this here and then work it that way, like so. And then let's pick out some of these more Christmassy papers. I kind of don't really want the red. I mean, I'll pick a bit out and see whether I like it. It just seems like a lot bolder than some of the other Christmassy bits that I've got, like these. These are kind of a bit more muted. Let's maybe do one of the greys. I've already used the pink, but maybe we could add a bit more. And that doesn't really scream Christmas to me. Let's see of these if there's any that kind of fit. Maybe this one. That's a bit too dark. The red is a bit kind of in your face as well. Let's see, did I miss one? Maybe this one. That's kind of a little bit more on the neutral side. This one could be quite nice. Let's use some of this. Or, ooh, actually the holly, that looks really nice. Let's add a strip. Let's add a strip of this. Maybe just as one section. There we go. We'll just have this as a little corner element. And again, I'm going to have to cover this because it's plain white on the other side. I'm just going to use some just cream paper here, and I might just tear a section of this. Again, I think I'm going to use some of the tape as a bit of an accent on this. So maybe a little bit of this paper, and then bring in some more of that tape as well. So let's maybe add this piece here, and then I want the tape to kind of work along one of these sections maybe. Let's see which one I want. Oh, I do have the brown one as well. That might look quite nice. And the nice thing about these is you can kind of just tear and pick whichever section you want to use. That works quite nicely. So we've got it folding that way, and then that's kind of the other side. And some of these bits are kind of more plain than others. And then this section's actually quite collaged up in comparison. Maybe we'll add some smaller bits to these sections just to bring in some more kind of different areas. And I do have some like little stamps and things which are quite like Christmassy, if you think of like kind of sending things in the post and things, Christmas cards, things like that. So I might just add some of those on there as well. And maybe I'll add some these little like tags as well. So maybe I'll add one of these on here. I think some tissue paper would be a nice addition as a nod to kind of gifts being wrapped as well. So So I'm just going to add this one here. And again, this is also covering the plainer section that we've got on one of the other sides of this page. Let's add that there, and then maybe some more just scrap pieces of paper on this side. Okay, I think I want to work some vellum into this next section. So I'm going to add some more tea-dyed paper, just because it's a nice base to work with. So we're going to fold this way now. So let's see, maybe I'll overlap onto this side slightly. So let's add the glue, and then let's just cover up on this side. And it's going to need a second piece of paper because that's not tall enough. Let's add a scrap of this music sheet paper that we used on the cover, and just to add to the top here. There we go, and then fold this in. Okay, so I'm going to add some book page to this, and maybe going to stop it kind of here because I want to create my join for the next page as well at the same time. So let's just add a little bit of glue here to join this up. We'll have to add something over here to make sure that we get the papers nice and sturdy. So maybe let's add some of this paper. In fact, I kind of want the section that's got the writing on it too. So let's just cover, maybe we'll just cover this whole section, like at the top here. So I'll just put glue across the whole thing. Okay, so now I can add my little vellum section. So what I want to do is just rip out a section of vellum, and then we will just add it to, kind of want to rip that section too. So let's just rip down both sides, and let's, the other way around, let's add that there as a kind of section. And then we'll come in with some more papers on the other side. So this is the section that I want to use as the next page. So let's just pop that there. And then I'm just going to add the glue to the section where we've got the papers covered. The paper's kind of gone a funny colour there with the glue, so I think I'm going to cover that up. But then once I fold this to be this page here, we've then got a page that has like a kind of transparent element, which is quite cool. So let's use one of these little tapes here just to cover that section because it doesn't look very nice. And let's add another section of these hollies because I think these are kind of the more subtle Christmassy elements that kind of work with this journal so that it's not overly Christmassy.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you sleep. You don't know much I love you. I put your favorite song on just to wake you up. When I dance around, I can't help but feeling I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here?
Okay, so this is my final piece. So I'm just going to attach this just straight to the cover of the back cover. And I should have probably checked that I've got it, the right way. Got it the right way up, and I'm just going to trim any bits that are like overhanging here. I don't mind too much that they're kind of peeking out, but just any kind of obvious bits that are overhanging. Okay, so this is the base of my Christmassy accordion style junk journal. No sewing or anything like that. This is just the base, and obviously it's quite small because this is only going to be for Christmas and like December. So this is just the base, so I will be obviously decorating it more, adding more things into it, but I just kind of wanted to get a nice selection of papers in, and you know, a little nod to some Christmassy elements too. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing this journal come together. Obviously, as the accordion style, it also has a section kind of on the reverse as well, so there's lots of different pages to play with. I absolutely love this spread. So yeah, some are more decorated, some are a bit plainer to kind of allow me the options of adding different embellishments. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know if you're doing anything for Christmas, whether you're doing like a December daily or anything like that. And as I said, I will be letting you guys know about what is coming for next month, so keep an eye on my YouTube and my Instagram. I'll probably post it over there as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.